we do bold predictions every spring and summer. I put a rating on how bold the predictions are, and then we just bookmark it. And we come back in December. And that's the fun part. This is the not fun part. Like, for example, the first one that I want to hit tonight is from Tyler in Austin, Texas. He said, we'll have a matchup of undefeateds for the national championship. Now, I put a 9.5 on this out of a 1 to 10 boldness scale. The rule around here is if I rate your prediction 9.5 or bolder and it happens, you get a chalice of supremacy. Well, Tyler, it's not happening for you because we only got one undefeated team left. That's Oregon. And that's before the things even started. This time last year, we had Michigan still undefeated. We had Washington still undefeated. And they did play for the title, so this did happen last year. FSU was undefeated, but they weren't in the playoff. So this happened last year. It's not happening this year. And I think that we've probably come close to seeing the end of that era with how deeper these major conferences are and how thinner the depth is, relatively speaking, than in years past. It's going to be tough to get those undefeated matchups late in the year. So that one busted. Next one was just, it was terrible. The next one was not all that bold to me. Tyler from Maryville, Tennessee said Ohio State will beat Michigan by 2+ touchdowns. Now, you see the date there. This is from June. It's not from late November, but it wouldn't have even been bold in late November. I only gave this a 7 on the boldness scale. Tyler, if you would have texted me this the morning of the game, I would have given it a 5 or a 4. Ohio State was favored by 20.5. They didn't even need to cover to win by 2+ touchdowns. And I think we all remember how this went down. I will never have confidence in this game again. Ohio State could play a high school from the state of Michigan, and I will be nervous if I'm betting Ohio State for the foreseeable future. My confidence is shaken mightily in the balance of power in that rivalry. It's going to take a while for me to fill my confidence tank back up. I mean, this is a tank even Quick Trip could not fill up. Next up, this one was a 10. This one was never going to happen. Jake hit me up and said, Deion Sanders will take another job before the end of a season. If there's one thing Deion is good at knowing, it's when the ship is sinking and getting off of it quickly. He sent me this on May 5th. And I said, you are wrong. This is a 10 on the boldness scale. Well, Deion is in Boulder, Colorado tonight, and he is wrapping up a 9-3 regular season. I don't know in what scenario this was ever going to happen. Because if the ship was sinking, what job was he leaving to take, firstly? And secondly, the ship didn't sink. The ship's fine, man. They actually built like layers onto the ship. It's a bigger ship. It's 9-3. He was never leaving. It was never going to happen in that scenario. So this was a 10 on the boldness scale. No chalice of supremacy being sent out there. Next up, this one's pretty painful too. This one was an 8.5 on the boldness scale. This one takes us to Lee County, Alabama. Jacob said, well, Jacob actually hails from Indianapolis, but he made a prediction about a team in Lee County, Alabama. He said Auburn wins 9 games, and they knock on the door of the playoff. Auburn went 5-7. The follow-up there, they did not knock on the door of the playoff. They are knocking on the door of a local shelter. They are not in a bowl game. And so that's the way it went. Now, what's painful about this is it's not a bunch of blowouts. The Cal game, change one play. Change one play in the Arkansas game, one play in the Missouri game. The Oklahoma game still haunts me because I bet Auburn that week. There's a world where, you just go in there and reverse engineer like 4 or 5 plays, and Auburn's an 8 or 9 win team, and maybe they would have been. Maybe they would have been in this little group of teams in the 10 through 15 range that was begging. They were knocking on the door, as you said, of a playoff spot. But alas, that is not how it turned out. How it turned out is poverty and then a lot of pressure on Auburn next year.